Well, I've had several people ask me to show my blackberries this year. I've got 3 different kinds. I've got Wachita, I've got Prime ARK Freedom, and I've got the new PONCA blackberry. So let me show you how they're doing, how they're producing, and the kind of yield I am getting. So let's just walk down. You can see just a huge hedge of blackberries. I mean, they are doing really, really well in these containers. So first let me show you the berry production, then I'll show you the new canes coming up for next year. So these are primocane berries. This is a Prime ARK Freedom berries. They are in containers, not just any container. That is a wicking tub. If you don't know what a wicking tub is, you'll have to do a search on my channel. I've got several videos showing how to build them, how they work, and what benefit they are to you over just a regular container. They have a water reservoir in the bottom, about 3 inches deep, and it holds about 2.5 to 3 gallons of water. And it just keeps the tubs watered. The water just wicks up through the tub into the plant. I use this on vegetables, I use this on blackberries. I've used it before and still have 1 tree in wicking tubs. So let me show you the berry production first. Again, Prime ARK Freedoms. These are covered in berries. I mean, covered in berries. I don't have any idea how many berries I'm gonna have. Most of them are pretty good size. That one's not black yet, but it's inch long, 1.25 inches, something like that. And but most of them are really, really nice berries. This berry on the very end is a Wachita, I think. It was kind of a mistake berry. It's supposed to be a Prime ARK Freedom, but it is not. It's not a primocane. And I'm pretty sure it's a Wachita because I've had Wachita before. And this had all the properties of Wachita as far as bloom, color, and when it blooms and how it produces and stuff. So pretty sure that's a Wachita blackberry, and it is covered. Now it's a little later, it's about 2 weeks later than the Prime ARK Freedom, but the covered in berries. They're not gonna be huge, doesn't look like, but it can kind of fool you. When you see the green berries and red, when they start turning red, they look small and you think, well, they're not gonna get very big. And then once they start turning black, they get more water in them, they start expanding, that berry will double in size probably. Starting to get some new canes in the Wachita. That's a new cane. That's a primocane for next year. But just the production of these Prime ARK Freedoms, I have found to be second to none. Now there may be somebody that's going to dispute that, but for me, the primocane berries, specifically the Prime ARK Freedom berries, are just really, really good. That berry's 1.25 inches, something like that, and very, very sweet. All right, we'll come around the corner here. Then we'll go look at the PONCA berries. But you really, really need a trellis. You can see these canes, that's the trellis wire, and these canes are just laying on that wire. And if it wasn't for that wire, these canes would probably be laying on the ground because they are so full of berries. Got a lot of weight there. Those berries, when they start, especially when they turn black, turn red, and then start turning black, those things have a lot of weight. If it's out on the end of a 4 or 5 foot cane, it's going to go down. And so a trellis is a must. It really is. I've got a video on how to build this trellis. It couldn't be easier. And so check out that video. I'll put it up at the end of this video. And I'll put it up even there right now, about the right-hand corner. But this is the primocane Prime ARK Freedom berries. And you can just see, hopefully the camera light didn't just fade out on you. But just a beautiful example of primocane berries. There's no telling how many gallons of berries I'm gonna get off these Prime ARK Freedom. Just off the Prime ARK Freedom. We hadn't even looked at the PONCAs yet. And just a beautiful example of blackberries in containers. Now, most of you will, if you've been following me any time, this became an experiment for me to see if you could even do this, if you could grow blackberries in containers. This is the third year. Third year for these blackberries. People have asked me, are they going to get root bound? Are they going to, at some point, outlive or outgrow their containers? I don't know. Again, third year. I would think they're as root bound right now as they're ever going to get. I would think last year. Just knowing how blackberries grow, the way the root systems grow and expand, I would think last year they were probably about as root bound as they're ever going to get. If they're going to be this productive and this beautiful in 3 years, I suspect they're going to be this way for many years to come. Now, blackberries do have a lifespan. They're not going to last forever. These tubs aren't going to last forever. These tubs probably last 5 to 7 years, maybe longer. But as far as the berries surviving in tubs, in containers, they are doing marvelously well. So I told you I would show you the new canes. Again, this is a prima cane variety, and these are actually the prima cane of this variety. It's this year's canes. All this growth from that cane right there, which is about 4 feet tall, has already been pruned on the end. I've already pinched off the very end of it, and I'll show you some of these other ones. I pinched this off, and you can see it's already starting to grow those laterals. Those laterals are real important. That's the lateral right there. Really important because that's where you get the majority of your berries come off laterals and not on the main cane sticking up. So you want to tip it, depending on how you build your trellis, you want to tip it at 3 to 4 feet. I don't go over 4 feet because they just get so heavy that they can break or kink. The cane can just kink, and that if you get that kink there, sometimes it doesn't live. It'll break it, cut off the supply and stuff. Sometimes you can help it and make it live. But here's a good example of a prima cane. This year's cane that has been pinched off has started growing laterals. That lateral's right on top, but it's still a lateral. That's a lateral, 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 and it's just all the way down it. Once you pinch it off, and I've tried to stress this with everybody, once you pinch it off or cut it off or whatever you do, that forces that plant it knows it's not going to grow any taller. So it forces it to start sprouting those laterals, and the laterals is what you want. You really want to get as many laterals out of a cane as you possibly can. And again, I can't imagine these being any more productive in the ground as they are right here in these containers. Okay, so these are the PONCA blackberries. And I tell you what, cane for cane, they might be more productive than the Primark Freedoms. So remember, these canes all grew last year. Everything you see grew last year. So these are floor canes, second-year canes. And for a floor cane variety, which most varieties are, except a prima cane variety, for a floor cane variety, that is when they produce fruit. You can see I've got bees all over them, and just bees having a big time, and that's good. That's what you want. So I've got some blooms, but so many of them have already started making berries, and I can't say they're more productive than the prima canes, than the Primark Freedoms, but they're just as productive. These are floor cane berries, so they will only produce on last year's cane. So all this stuff, all this growth that you see is from last year, and all of it is showing a ton of fruit. Haven't gotten any yet. It's about probably 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks behind the prima cane berries. So these are just now turning red, and it'll be a couple of weeks, maybe not even that long, before they produce. The berries do look smaller. The berries look smaller on, this is, well, you can see the perspective here, much smaller than most of the prima cane berries, most of the Primark Freedom berries. So they do look smaller, but some people might like that better because with smaller berries, you probably get smaller seeds. But I want you to look at that cluster right there. That's just one lateral, maybe two of the laterals off that cane that are just filthy with berries. So PONCA is extremely productive. It is supposed to be extremely sweet. So hopefully this is going to be something for the record books as far as production as well as sweetness. Looking forward to getting my first PONCA and just see how they compare. I don't have a real sophisticated palate, so I'm not going to be able to judge sweetness. Some people always ask me what's the sweetest berry. They all taste sweet to me and good to me, and I don't know that I can pick a winner. But who knows? These things might be so sweet that they produce a winner, and that they really have a sweet, sweet berry. And I want you to look at this. Now, again, those berries are small, but they're green. They will get bigger as they turn red and then black. So just a beautiful example of container blackberries. Now look at that. That is beautiful. So it makes a beautiful hedge. If you don't like the color, either what I call hillbilly blue or this orange, you can paint these. Let me just go down through here and just show you from a distance how well these filled out last year. First year, again, they were just twigs when I put them in the ground. And this is all growth from last year. Planted them last February, maybe early March of last year. So these are been in the ground or in these containers for a year and a couple of months maybe. So beautiful, beautiful berries. And then we'll turn around and show you my Primicans one more time. Beautiful, beautiful. I'm already getting berries. I've already eaten a bunch. I picked about a dozen. There looks to be about a couple of dozen ready to pick right now. I'll come in here and snatch those up. But just beautiful berries in containers. And yes, you can grow berries in containers. I assume raspberries also. I've never grown any raspberries. I'm not real crazy about raspberries. But I would bet you can grow raspberries in containers too. I would just keep that in mind if you're a raspberry person. So let me just pick a couple of these. I saw these yesterday. I still had a little tinge of red on them. I like to wait till they're very, very black, just almost dull looking. That is when they are their sweetest, and that is good. That is a good looking berry. There's a lot more. I'll come back, get up in here, get up in there and get that one. Some right there. I'll come back and get them. I'm gonna snatch them up. Gotta have the pollinators, gotta have bees. If you don't have bees, your berries are gonna be smaller probably, because the bees have to pollinate those dudes. And bees love them. Well, you plant them, the bees will come. If you got any bees near you, they'll come. So that's it, Primark Freedom and PONCA blackberries. And hope you enjoyed the tour. Hope yours are doing well and that you too are in blackberry production. There's nothing like it. Nothing like it. All right. We're gone.